Hello friends, welcome to the third episode of Wi-Fi IoT Gateway Development. So in the last episode we have learned how to put our device into three different modes. So today we'll start looking at run mode. Run mode is basically collect and send data when network is available, otherwise store the record when out of network. So today we'll have a look at store. So as you know, in ESP8266 or ESP32 there are two ways of storing data. One is EEPROM, another is SPIF. So for their detail and their pros and cons, please refer to the online materials. And so what we'll practically do, you will use them both. So today we will save our sensor data in EEPROM memory as if in a database table, and in a later episode we will be using SPIF to store our configuration data in the device. So today's episode is not important only because we are doing EEPROM. It is also that we will be introducing some basic elements of C, like C data type, then C pointer, then we will be also using C function. So today's concentration is on saving data. So let's begin. Let us take an agricultural use case. Say we are monitoring soil moisture of a field. So soil moisture is not such a data that can need to be continuously monitored. It can be monitored say every 2 hours. So these field deployed devices are normally battery driven devices. So to extend their battery life, what they do, they work in a wake up and sleep cycle. So if the data is needed every 2 hours, the devices will sleep for 2 hours, then wake up, then it collects the sensor data. The sensor data resides in the device's RAM, and if the Wi-Fi is up, it sends the data and go to sleep. So the business is done. But if the Wi-Fi is not up and the controller, without saving data into some non-volatile memory like EEPROM or SPIF, if the controller goes to sleep directly, all the data that is in RAM variables are lost. So when next time the device wake up, there is no past record, and so this data is lost forever. So that is where this saving and retrieving data from EEPROM or SPIF become very important. So with that in mind, let us get into the code. So we have simulated a similar use case here. I am using a Wish3 board based on ESP32. So let me plug this up to my laptop. So the LED turn up, and here is the serial monitor. I now open the serial monitor. Okay, so we have simulated this case, just that we are collecting data every 10 seconds. So you can see the device wake up, it collects the current record. So current record is a serial number and a random value. So you can see I have attached no sensor here. So I am collecting a serial number which is like just sequential number 1 2 3 4, and also generating a random number within ESP32. So what you can do, you can attach some real sensor like humidity, temperature sensor, or you can also attach an RTC, so to get a timestamp on each record. Okay, so this is how this is working. After wake up, it collects the current data and then appends to the last data that it had. Okay, so every time the data will increase. So it was 15 data, now you can see one data added to it, so it becomes 16 data. So this will go on every 10 seconds. So EEPROM also has some memory limitation, so this cannot go for as long as you want. So what we have done here, we have added two buttons here. You can see once you press this button, you can reset the EEPROM memory and it goes to 0 value again, and then again that this 10-second cycle start up. Okay, so this is how this is working. Now let us go into the code and see how these are coded. Okay, so let us now get into the code. So reading and writing from EEPROM is pretty simple. So if we see in the RandomNut tutorial website, so you can see to read and write from EEPROM, you need to first hash include the library. Then to write something, you need to issue command like this, EEPROM.write address and value. So if you want to write value 9 at address 0, you write it like this. And then if you want to then retrieve what is written at address 0, you do it like this. So if you read at EEPROM.read 0, so this return you the value 9. So this is pretty simple, but in our case we want this EEPROM data to be in a tabular format like this, as if in a database table. So we'll do some C jugglery. So how we have done this, let us see. Okay, so this is the code here. Okay, so in the code we also included library, and these first three constants are defined. So first one is the size of record book, which is 48. So that is the maximum number of records you can write in EEPROM, and this is the size 2048 bytes that we are allocating to EEPROM. Okay, so we can increase this size and increase number of record as well. And the begin address, so where we are starting to write our things, will be from 0. So this is the hex format of 0. So this is for the resetting of records to 0. I'll talk about them later. These two variables are what we are saving. You have seen in the demo, serial number and rand value, and the current index is kind of a placeholder for it is the you can say it is the cursor to write the next record. This is the sleep time, which is 10 seconds. It is in microseconds, so we multiply it with e to the power 6 to convert it into second. So the main part that is helping us to get a tabular format like this, okay, like this, is this structure variable of C. So we are defining our own type def struct. So this is holding a value next, which is kind of a cursor, and then we are writing two arrays of value, which one is serial number where this is saved. So there are 48 records in there, and also random value, which is this one, and we can save 48 random numbers also here. So then we declare our table here, and we declare a pointer to the table. So why this pointer to the table is required, that I want to describe you. So a pointer is basically this. So a pointer is an address to a variable name. So when we define something like board is equal to Arduino, so say I need to show you this. So here you can see I have defined something board is equal to Arduino. So what I am doing actually here is I am defining board is equal to Arduino, and if the same place I just put a pointer symbol, this star is a pointer. So I am actually not defining board is equal to Arduino. I am telling that the Arduino is written at this address, okay, this location number or this address. So why we are using pointer instead of simple character variables, that is because, so if we want to change string and character arrays in the runtime, they don't change because they are immutable. So what is that, we'll understand through this program. So if it is a pointer and I run it, so you see earlier it was Arduino, and then I change in the runtime it to board ESP32. So it accepted the change, so board name changed, okay. But if it is not a pointer and it is just a character variable type, it won't allow me to do that. So that is why in this code we are defining the table also as a pointer, so that we can change the table data in the runtime. So now let us understand the basic logic that is happening here. So when we define this variable here, actually it when the device wake up, it actually creates this variable in its RAM memory, okay, random access memory. But so it has got no initialization, so it doesn't have these positions like serial number 0, serial number 1 has no value assigned to it. What we do after that, so we do mem set through this, okay. Through this we set all this value to 0, okay, and then what we do, we go after reset wake up, we go and we read. So you can see this EEPROM read current address. So what we are doing, we go and read. When we wake up, we read from this EEPROM data. So whatever we have written before we slept last time, so our code, what does it do, it copies whatever is written into EEPROM into this table which is in the RAM, okay. So this is through which this is done. So we do EEPROM begin, and we do a index, define an index is equal to 0, and we run it up to n bytes. Number of bytes is size of the data table. So we run the for loop until the last byte is written is read, and then we save it into this RAM table here, okay. And then we know what was written in the EEPROM last time, okay. And then what we do, we data print the table. So whatever we have read, we write that out into serial monitor. So data print is a function which is printing this data whatever is read. So you can see the data print thing here. So this function is defined here. A function is something when we need to use something again and again, we make it into a function, and we call that function, so that this job can be done repeatedly. So I will not explain this here because of the time constraint. So you can read it through. It is I think you will be able to understand. So once we read the data after we wake up, okay, we print it. So you can reflect that here, you can see. So after wake up, we printing from EEPROM. So we read the EEPROM and we printed this data. So we found 3 data in the EEPROM, okay. So it is now inside the RAM, okay. Then what we do, setup is done, we go into loop, we generate, we get new variables. Okay, so in case if you have a temperature humidity sensor, you have a RTC timer, you will get those data here. Okay, and then you print also it into the EEPROM. So you can see here the serial print happening here. So new record, serial number is 3 and random value 72. So this is written because of this line. Okay, okay, and then once this is done, we want to store this new value into this RAM. So so if, like, say it was up to number 2, so we now want to run. So if we go for example with this, so we had 3 data points here, so up to serial number 2. Okay, so we have serial number 2 here. Okay, so now our cursor will be so this next variable from EEPROM, you see this variable next, this is always located as a cursor and it will be in the next position. So what we are doing, we now what we'll do in the loop, yeah, here. So what we'll do, we will save these numbers in the current index. Okay, this current index is equal to next actually. So if you see, before we enter here, we set the current index is equal to next. Yeah, so whatever we have written, we have read from EEPROM, we set the next into current index. So next is always in the next position, the vacant position. So at that position we are writing whatever we have whatever data we got from our sensor. So that once that is written, I can again run what I have, again print what is written, but not needed. So I commented it out. This double slash is actually commenting out, so this will not compile, so it will not print anything. And then reset flag I will come later. This is for the record set. Okay, so now I have written the new record in a new line, but it is in RAM. So if I go to sleep, just this will go off. So before we go to sleep, we need to transfer this data to EEPROM. So that is done through this, store the data in EEPROM. So through this function actually we store the data into EEPROM again, and we can print the data again whatever is written. So you can see in our output, so this we had 3 data when we wake up, we got a new data and we appended this new data to the last row here, and now we have archive of 4 data. Okay, so that is how it is written there, and then whatever is written is printed. Then we go to sleep. So this is how this thing happen. Okay, so now I will explain this clear print and data reset, because we have maximum space for 48 records. We cannot just keep on going. So at some point of time we need to clear that. So that is why this clear pin 13 is defined. So here is the switch, something like that. It is normally grounded, but if we press this button, pin GPIO 13 is high. Okay, GPIO 13 becomes 3v3, so it goes high. So in that case we set this reset flag, which is by default 0 to 1. So where that happens is here. So during wake up, if the controller sense that the reset pin is high, it reset the flag as 1. And once the reset flag is 1, so what happens actually, this thing happen here. So what we do, we reset the p table next to 0. That means what, so when we write back to the EEPROM, we write there is no data in the table and the next cursor is at 0 level. So we have to start from 0 again. So practically what happens, all the data are there only. Okay, no data is deleted from there, but because we set the next 0, so it start writing from 0 again. And when we print, okay, and when we print, you see we start printing, while printing in this function, okay, data print function, we have given number of records equal to table next. So if we set the next to 0, so it shows that there is no record to be printed, so nothing is get printed. And when after first writing it goes to 1, so it prints just 1 record. So actually things are there, but printing is controlled, because the next is the cursor pointer shows it, tells it to print only 1 or 2 or 3 rows. Okay, so that is how this reset thing is working. So if you want to do something like that, so instead of resetting, the actual way would be, so I would like you to take this challenge to do it. So what need to be done, you can implement a stack like FIFO stack. So when the 49th record come, so the first record will go out of the stack, and instead, so all the records will move up, and the last record will get appended at the last row. Okay, so you can try doing that. That would be like kind of a challenge. And this stack implementation in real life case, you will have to implement such a stack. Okay, because the Wi-Fi might be off for very long. In that case, you need to implement that.